So to kick off this Delaware watch party, we're of course joined by the head hen, I guess you could call him, head coach Ben DeLuca. Coach, thanks for taking some time and taking a little trip down memory lane with us.
Always a pleasure, Travis. Great to see you, and I appreciate your coverage.
So we're going to start with a game from your first year as head coach back in 2018. I want to take you back, because you take over this program, obviously you're trying to figure out what you have, and it was a team that certainly had some talent and some good leaders. And I wonder, if you look back to that team, what did that group mean to what you guys were ultimately able to accomplish this past year in winning the CAA championship?
Oh, they were everything, Travis. They set the foundation for us. You know, they bought in right from the start. They did the work that we needed to do to put ourselves in a position to accomplish some of the goals that we had set out for ourselves. And you know, you mentioned the leaders that we had that year were able to really do a great job of contributing to our culture, because it wasn't necessarily top down. It was something that we created together with their input and their vision. And you know, we went out, and I think we had our struggles in year one for sure, and I think our guys will recognize that and hopefully relish that as well. But ultimately, put ourselves in a position to do some things and make some progress that we had talked about in the preseason, namely competing in our conference and having a chance to play in the postseason.
Guys like Charlie Kitchen and Matt DeLuca are going to join us throughout this days long of reliving Delaware games, and those were guys that were part of some of those first teams for you. And I wonder what the messaging was back and forth with guys like them when you guys were able to accomplish what you did this past year, when nationally people are recognizing Delaware again.
Yeah, I mean, we harken back to the lessons that we learned from those guys when those guys were playing for us and with us, and the experiences that we went through. And listen, we learned the hard way. There were no easy lessons in 2018. We learned the hard way. We really found out who wanted to be a part of this program and who wanted to achieve greatness, because I think it's everybody loves winning. It's easy to say we want to win, but not everybody loves the work that it takes to be a winner and to become a winner. And you know, we felt our way through that. We identified some leaders early on. There were some guys that were hungry to compete and ready to work hard. And Charlie and Matt DeLuca and you know, our guys, seniors there, Will Hirschman in that year in particular, did a great job of buying into what we were teaching and what we were developing, understanding that we may not see the fruits of that labor until sometime down the line. And as you mentioned, I think last year was a major credit to those guys in the 2018 and 2019 classes who came in and really bought in, worked really hard, and set the foundation for our current guys.
Well, we mentioned 2022. Obviously, it was a special year for you. And I think back to the Sunday night at home against Hopkins. We had the chance to do that game. It's another one of the games we're going to show here throughout this special. And that game just had a juice behind it. The energy in the stadium was great. You guys get a big win against the Hopkins program that comes to your place. What did that mean for kind of establishing what you guys ended up doing at the end of the year?
Well, you know, it reinforced that we can compete with anybody on any stage at any point in time. And it was our program's first ever win over Johns Hopkins. So that's a big milestone for our guys, and something that we talk about. You know, if we want to be successful nationally, we have to be able to compete and win games against, you know, blue-blooded programs that have been a while. And I'm not sure there's a more accomplished one than Johns Hopkins. And to have them come to Delaware Stadium on a Sunday night under the lights, you mentioned the crowd was unbelievable. The game was super exciting, and to be able to come out of that with a win was certainly a boost of confidence for our team, and what we would later lean on towards what we thought was a pretty good run towards the end of the season.
Outside of the gameplay, what do you remember about that night?
Energy in the locker room before the game, halftime, after the game. Our guys were just really dialed in to what needed to happen. And there's a lot that can happen on a Sunday night game where you have the entire day to think about it and allow distractions to creep in. Our guys were very focused. We had great leadership We came out and we executed really well. It was not pretty in any way, shape, or form, but we executed. We did what we needed to do to come out of there on top of the win. I think a number of memories stand out from that game, but I think George Ward's extra man goal was a big juice goal for our guys. Some of the plays in between the lines and the way we were able to hustle. I also, would be remiss if I didn't mention that we welcomed John Grant Jr. back to Delaware Stadium. He's a Hall of Famer here, one of our all-time greats, and we had a great video montage in tribute to him as he returned to Delaware Stadium. Maybe a little bittersweet for him, but for us, really important to honor the legacy and the guys that have come before us and the guys that we're competing for these days. So all of those things combined to be just an unbelievable atmosphere for our players and for our fans, and it turned out to be a whole lot of fun.
The very end of this special, we're going to replay that CAA championship from this past year. Obviously, a special one, and obviously has to be probably one of your favorite games at Delaware, considering you're winning a title at the end of the year, or at the end of that game. But I want to ask you, because I don't know if I have asked you specifically about the goal. That Ty Kurtz goal, the wrapping one-handed, what do you think about when you remember that goal?
Just Ty makes plays. He has a knack for making plays, and that day, that was one of many that he made. He was the outstanding, most outstanding player in the tournament. We see it all the time in practice, and what a lot of people did not realize was he was not at 100%. He was fighting through injury, as a lot of guys are at that stage. And his ability to make big plays in a big game, the biggest game of the season at that point in time, to lead us to victory was amazing. And I think there's a certain part where we smile and enjoy the electricity that he creates with some of those moves. But on the other hand, it's not surprising to those of us who see him do it day in and day out in practice. And just an unbelievable effort from a young man who refused to be denied a chance at a championship. And the reason that one of the major reasons why he and his brother came here to Delaware was to compete on that type of a stage.
So if for people that don't remember that championship game, it is wet, it's raining. You guys had perfect weather on Thursday, and everything's great in Philadelphia, and then you get that for the championship game. Behind the scenes, what is the feeling like? Obviously the excitement, but just dealing with the weather and the environment, obviously not ideal for what you would love for a Saturday championship game.
Yeah, listen, there are a number of factors throughout that tournament that were maybe not less than ideal. We go in as the top seed, but we're playing the host team in the first round. Drexel was hosting and our opponent in the first round, and there's a lot of ways that could go not in our favor, and our guys handled that very well. And then anytime you get a chance to play Towson, it's exciting for Delaware, and to meet them in a championship game with the weather the way it was. I think our guys really buy into and thrive in adversity and discomfort, and our guys knew that the weather was going to be less than ideal, and we prepare for that. We prepare for that throughout the year. We do our very best to block out the distractions and things that are outside of our control, and if anything, try to find a way to utilize it to our advantage. And I just felt like our guys were really excited about that. It did not become a factor for us at all. Late in the game, it got pretty exciting when some of the guys who maybe were a little cooler on the bench came in the game and got some time. But just an exciting game for us to be able to compete and to win a championship, to set out to accomplish a goal, and to see that to fruition in that type of an environment was very fitting for our guys, I think.
Yeah, and a memorable season for you guys, of course, leading to an NCAA quarterfinal appearance in 2022 this past year. Coach, we appreciate you going down memory lane with us a little bit. We're going to send people to one of those games from that first year in 2018 now, and we thank you, of course, so much for your time. Thanks, man.
Appreciate you, Travis. Thanks again. Go Hens.